Nelson from Thief River Falls Radio with another edition of Community Grant. Today we're going to find out all about the Thief River Falls Area Construction Project. Nate Gallagher with HDR Engineering. Welcome, Nate.
Thanks for having me, and it's a pleasure to talk about the project.
Let's talk about the significance of this project.
This is about $20 million worth of construction that occurred in 2020, this summer, around and near Thief River Falls, involving about 5 different agencies: Pennington County Highway Department, the Minnesota Department of Transportation, the City of Thief River Falls, the Red Lake Watershed, all piled together to work on this project. And if we weren't able to work collaboratively on the funding, on the permitting, and really on the construction, because the same contractor got most of the work, we would have seen a substantially greater cost, and likely maybe wouldn't have seen all the components because of the cost savings and the efficiencies that we saw with that just huge project that was coordinated this summer. It was really a feat of coordination and cooperation. We probably had 50 different utility impacts. We had a railroad we went under. We actually bored under Highway 32 there. The weather was a factor early on, but in the end it kind of finished well. I mean, we will have some finish next season, so if there's something out there people aren't happy with, talk to your representatives and we'll make sure it gets covered early next spring.
Probably the prettiest of all the projects that I've seen so far is the outlet that goes from Highway 32 to the Red Lake River.
There was an old ditch that came into the northwest corner of Thief River Falls called County Jet 70, and if you saw every 2 or 3 inches of rain, water would come into town on the west side, and Hubert's would be flooded, Petrol Pumper, all those ditches would be backed up, and we were really just a 2 or 3 inch rainfall away from a major flood that would have even affected Digi-Key, their new building, Articat, that whole west side. So the project was conceived to take that water and move it all the way around the west side, south of town, to the Highway 32 outlet, as you just described. And there was some erosion going on, and trees and shrubs, and the whole thing was just kind of hidden there from the highway. But in reality, that channel was eroding. It dropped 17 feet to the river from Highway 32. And what we did then is we had to come in and design an outlet that was not only practical and functional, but we felt aesthetically should capitalize on kind of the purpose of what we were doing, that people could remember for a long time what this project meant to the community. So what we've got now, instead of a small channel that's eroding and often unable to handle what it had originally in terms of drainage area and flow, we've got a very large outlet that safely works its way down to the Red Lake River for really 4 times the drainage area. And in fact, just east of Highway 32 there along the historical village, there's still storm sewer going through there, but we filled in about 8 feet, and there's still a little bit of depth there, which the city is considering next year, next summer, maybe even raising that a little bit more to have even less of a ditch flavor. But at the same time, it's functional, it'll drain, it has like little drainage area, so it'll just be a nice grassy boulevard all over that storm sewer.
So what we have is a force main that goes out to a lagoon, then a storm sewer on top of that, and then cover the storm sewer up, plus black dirt, so you can urbanize that ditch and make what was once a very steep, deep ditch into something that it's mowable now. We've got our infrastructure in, we've got the urbanization done, we've got Thief River Falls protected from floodwaters coming in from the north. Now we go on to roundabouts and keep people safe on the roads. Talk a little bit about roundabouts and the increased safety that we have as a result of roundabouts instead of the old-time 4-way intersections.
I think we all experienced the Pennington Avenue roundabout that went in a few years ago where the underpass is. And I know there was some uncertainty at first and probably a few fender benders that occurred, but over time, this community has adapted to that kind of traffic flow. And I know I've been stuck on Highway 1 before trying to get across to the Ralph coming from the south going north, and when Digi-Key and Articat let out of work, it's just kind of chaos. You look at the hospital and the high speeds to the south of town, and that roundabout now gives us some really measured, balanced traffic control that kind of spreads and meters everything out. And now you can go to Challenger, you can cross over to the hospital. I mean, I think a person would be a fool to say roundabouts are a bad thing, because they really revolutionized the movement of traffic in this community and really sped everybody up in the process.
We talk a lot about the safety of different things. One of the least safe maneuvers is a left turn. And with the roundabouts, you're eliminating left-hand turns, your right-hand turn all the time. And even coming out of Challenger Elementary School now, it's a right-hand turn. And I think that is going to really lend to the safety of the general public.
Absolutely. I've had 4 kids go through the Challenger system, and it was always just chaos, especially to try to get out and maybe take a south turn there on the mornings, weekday mornings. But now with that roundabout, people finally figured out how to navigate that. And with this bridge now, that'll completely provide an outlet at that particular roundabout that'll be safe. And I just can't wait to use it.
What is that bridge going to mean as far as, can you tell us what it's going to mean as far as traffic flows? I mean, how is that going to change Thief River Falls and the way that we move around?
I think it will revolutionize, but at the same time, people will become accustomed to it. And these things are thought through. The city, their engineers, their leaders, the Public Works Department there, MnDOT for that matter, the Pennington County Highway, they consider all these factors in terms of these designs, these new bridges, these routes, and really they are designed as coordinated systems, and in the end, it makes for a better, safer community.
Nate Gallagher from HDR Engineering. Nate, I think a very successful project. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And I'm Grant Nelson with another edition of Community Grant for Thief River Falls Radio.